It's Thursday, September 13, 2018, and it's time to do my NFL predictions for week 2. And what did I learn from week 1? I hate week 1. Hate it. I never can tell who's doing what. It was so wrong. So I'm not keeping track of how many of these I get right and how many of these I get wrong, because I have a feeling I did bad. So I'm not keeping track, because there were games where I was way off. Way off. Tampa Bay beating New Orleans. Come on. Ryan Fitzpatrick will never throw. He won't throw 5 touchdowns the rest of the season, let alone 5 in a game. New Orleans. No, New Orleans. I'm not calling you New Orleans. I'm calling you New Orleans Saints. Because you don't deserve to be called New Orleans. Terrible. So we're going to run through these real quick, and we're going to see what I learned from week 1 and put it into week 2, and it's going to be bad. First game, tonight's game, Baltimore at Cincinnati. Oh, yes, Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore's getting a point. Cincinnati, I think, won last week against Indianapolis. Game I got wrong. Baltimore beat Buffalo badly, but Buffalo may be the worst team in the NFL. In fact, I'm going to put them right there, right now, as the worst team in the NFL. Peterman or Peterson, or whatever his name was, got benched for Josh Allen. Josh Allen's going to be in there. McCoy is having some problems off the field that may become bigger later. But I think he'll play this week. But Cincinnati caught me by surprise. I didn't think Cincinnati would win that game in Indianapolis, and I think that's who they played. I can't remember for sure. But I'm still picking Baltimore. I think Baltimore is a better team than Cincinnati. So that moves us on to the Sunday games. Denver versus Oakland. That's my team. My team is Denver. Oakland's defense looked a lot better. That 33-13 score was not indicative of what that game really was. That game was played. I was impressed with how well that defense did play against a really good offense. I think with Goff and Gurley and some of the other weapons they have, I think that defense played real good not having Khalil Mack. I think they played together. They played inspired. Will that continue against the Denver Broncos? No, not in Denver. If it was in Oakland, I'd probably take the Oakland Raiders to win this game. But in Denver, I will give Denver the advantage. They're favored by 6. Sounds about right. It's a divisional game. That's the tough part. Divisional games are so hard to predict. But I'll still say that Denver, who beat Seattle, Case Keenum, settle down. There's no need to throw some of those throws that you threw last week to the Seattle defense. Relax. Let the running game. Lindsey with Freeman. We ran, I think the last week we ran for over 150 yards total. I mean, the offensive line looked good. So I was very happy with that. The defense looked good. Von Miller was a beast. Derek Carr will not have as bad of a game as he did last week. Will be a close game. I'll still take Denver. Kansas City and Pittsburgh. This is what's going to tell me if I need to believe in Patrick Mahomes. Now, I basically have lambasted this guy, thinking he's not as good as everybody's saying he's going to be. I might be dead wrong. Mahomes may be real good, scary good. We'll see how he does against the Pittsburgh Steelers. In Pittsburgh will want to bounce back. I love the way Connor played. I think that's his name, Jamal Connor, that running back. I love the way he played. He's a different kind of running back than Le'Veon Bell, but I like the way he played. He's not exactly versatile like Le'Veon Bell, but he played well. Roethlisberger's not going to have as bad of a game either as he did the previous week, so I'm going to take Pittsburgh. Jets in Miami. I'm not all in on Sam Darnold. I don't know why people are so overly excited about Sam Darnold. The Jets are a good team. Miami, I don't believe is. I will take the Jets. I think a lot of the experts said Sam Darnold was the most pro-ready coming out of the draft. All Sam Darnold is doing, he's proving them right. He is the most pro-ready. He looks like he's poised, and that's what you like in a young quarterback. You like a guy that looks poised, he makes mistakes, he forgets about the mistakes, moves on. That's what you like to see in a young quarterback. I think he's got a big future, and I think they win this game. Cleveland at New Orleans. Oh my God, New Orleans. If you gave up that many points to that defense, to that terrible Tampa Bay offense, what are you going to do against Cleveland's offense? I think it's better than that. New Orleans bounced back. Cleveland loses this game, unfortunately. I love the way Cleveland played last week. I think New Orleans bounces back. I don't think their defense plays nearly this bad against Cleveland. It's in New Orleans. I'll give it to the Saints on this one, but not by much. That puts us with Green Bay and Minnesota. Or Minnesota at Green Bay. Tough game. I'm still not sold on Kirk Cousins. He played well last week. But Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum, and Alex Smith all basically almost had the same game. And they all won, which was, brilliant. Alex Smith, did he win? I can't remember. Did he win with Washington? He might have. But I'm still not a believer in Kirk Cousins yet. Like I said, I need a bigger sample size in his new team. Green Bay, if Aaron Rodgers is gimpy going against that Minnesota defense, I'm going to pick Minnesota to beat Green Bay in Green Bay. The LA Chargers against the Buffalo Bills. LA Chargers, don't you dare lose this game. If you lose in Buffalo, we know which half of the season is going to be your bad season then, don't we? Because this will be the half. If the LA Chargers lose to the Buffalo Bills, expect the LA Chargers to go 2-6 through the first 8 and go 6-2 or 7-1 through the last 8. So don't lose. I think they will bounce back. I think Phillip Rivers will bounce back. I think the LA Chargers defense will play better. LA Chargers will win this game. They're favored by 7. Carolina at Atlanta. No, Atlanta. You got showed up. Good defense can stop your offense. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers. That defense looked stout last week. I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers to beat Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons, even in Atlanta. I picked Carolina to win the division this year. I think Carolina is going to be one of those teams that they're going to have a solid defense. They're going to let Cam be Cam. I think that team is going to surprise a lot of people. And others that have picked them to win the division, we're not going to be surprised. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Philadelphia's defense, really good. Tampa Bay's offense is not that good. There is no way they hang that many points on Philadelphia. The world champs go in there and turn Tampa Bay into the NFL chumps. Philadelphia to beat Tampa Bay. And this 3-point line, forget that. Philadelphia will beat them by at least 10. That's with Nick Foles starting. Houston at Tennessee. Houston bounces. Not much to say about this. Houston will bounce back. All those guys will bounce back. Tennessee did not look as good as I thought they were going to be. I'll take Houston to beat them. I think Houston hung in there with New England a lot better than Tennessee did in their game. Indianapolis at Washington. I'm going to take Washington. Andrew Luck. The problem is Andrew Luck is really good, but the rest of that team might just be really bad. Other than the guard Garcia that they have. The rest of that team just may not be good enough. Washington might just be a better team. Alex Smith is going to probably has a little bit more around him. I'll give Washington the win there. Arizona at the Rams. Arizona looked pathetic. Arizona looked just awful. Bradford was getting booed out of the building. I said that Bradford does not deserve $20 million. He's never deserved $20 million in a season. But good on him for getting paid because the man is super rich. And I'm super jealous of that. But the man has gotten paid over the years. He's just not. He's been paid like an elite quarterback, but he's not an elite quarterback. Even when he was healthy, I was never convinced. The Rams are getting 13 in this game. I'm telling you right now, if Ndamukong Suh and Donald get to Bradford, he may have a short game. Unfortunately, Bradford is fragile, and he cannot take a beating. I have a feeling that Rams defense is going to put a beating on him. Rams to win the game pretty easily. Detroit to San Francisco. Detroit, I don't know what to say. Matt Patricia is having a lot of problems there. Matt Patricia is getting, I guess, he used to be the players' coach in New England. He was the guy they called Matty P. He was the guy that people liked. And now he goes over and becomes a head coach and turns into Belichick. You're not Belichick, dude. Just be yourself. Be Matty P. Be a player's coach. Have a good time with your players. You may not get another head coaching job. Bill Belichick coaching disciples don't go on to success in the pro game. It just doesn't happen. The only one I even think was a fairly competent coach in the pros was Mangini. And I think if Mangini got another chance, I think he'd be really good. But he seems to be fine being an analyst. But Nick Saban, of course, is a beast in college. But The rest of, you're talking Romeo Cornell and Josh McDaniels and Charlie Weiss and all these other guys that have come out of his stables have been bad. So, and I'm not convinced on O'Brien either. So, Matt Patricia, just go back to being yourself, buddy. Just be yourself and get these players on your side. With all that going on in Detroit, San Francisco should roll them. New England at Jacksonville's a pick 'em. I'm rooting for Jacksonville. I want Jacksonville to win this game so badly. But you still got the GOAT on the other side, Tom Brady. And when he's got something to prove, it's really, really tough. I'm going to take the Patriots to beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Dallas playing at home versus the Giants. This is a big game for Dallas. Dallas has to bounce back. Dallas has to do something. They cannot lose another game and put up only 8 points. They have to put up some points. They have to get Ezekiel Elliott the ball more than 15 or 16 times. You got to give that kid 25 to 30 carries. He has got to be the load bearer on that team. The team is built to run. Keep the ball on your side of the field. Run it. Work that clock down. Work down that Giants defense. I think they do that. Dallas wins. And that will take us to the Monday night game. Seattle at Chicago. I'm not convinced about Seattle. I'm not convinced about Chicago either. Still not convinced about Trubisky. This is a tough game because I think Seattle might be a slightly better team than Chicago, but Chicago's at home. Chicago got railed last week by Rodgers coming back in there, and Rodgers coming back in and saying, I can beat you guys, and he did. But who do I take in this game? I'm going to take the Bears. The Bears to beat the Hawks on Monday night. So there they are. Those are my picks. Tell me what you think. What have I missed? Tons, probably. It's like, I'm probably going to do really bad on these picks as well. But you know what? Like I said, I'm not keeping track. I'm just doing this for fun. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Tell me where I messed up royally. And with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.